Hey, Composing Gloves here, and today we're going to be taking a look into minor scales. There are three kinds of minor scales, but first we have to remember, what is a scale? A scale is a group of notes we choose to work with. What is a key? A key is a group of notes with a harmonic. It's the harmonic structure that comes with a group of notes you pick. It also will have a most important note. So for example, C major will have all the harmonic structure of a major scale, but it will have C as the most important note. A minor will have minor harmonic structure, not minor as in a small amount, but minor as in the quality of a minor structure, and A will be the most important note. So there are three kinds of minor scales. There's actually natural, harmonic, and melodic. And harmonic sounds really cool. We'll get to that. That's of the three, that's my favorite one. But let's move down to making them. So if you know how to make a major scale, you can make minor scales by leveraging your major scale knowledge. So to make a minor scale, all you got to do is this. You say, to make the natural, this is specifically the natural minor. And I start with this one because if you can make this one, all the others are like way simple using this method. So you, natural minor, you lower the scale degrees. You lower the 3, the 6, and the 7 scale degrees. What does that mean? Well, what I'm saying here is you can take any major scale, like A major. So for example, they want us to make A minor. So you can take any major scale and you can lower the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th in the A major scale, and that will turn it into the natural minor scale. And you can do this with any scale. You can start with E flat major. Lower the 3, 6, 7, you will have the E flat minor scale. The C major. Lower the 3, 6, 7, you'll have the C minor scale. So let's build one. So here, let's now, when you're making scales, I'll start down here. This is 2 ledger lines below is an A, for those who are not familiar super with their ledger lines. But when making scales, we must follow the rule that every line in space, every space gets a note. Some people mess up because they have other knowledge and they think chromatically. So they can mess up their inharmonic spellings. Because in minor scales, not natural minor, but in melodic that we'll be getting into, you might run into a flat and a sharp in the same scale. So you have to know how to derive the correct inharmonic notes. And so to make sure it's always correct, just make sure you have a line on A, and then every space in line should have a note until you get to the next A. And then here we're going to construct the major scale, right? Because we have no idea how to make the minor scale, but we know how to get to it by making the major scale. So we start in A, we think of our order of sharps and flats and how many sharps are in A major, and we say, oh, there's 3 sharps from previous exercise knowledge. And so we use our order of sharps to put them in, and we check it. We say, oh, yeah, we have the A major scale. But that's going pretty fast for you. Go back, do the exercises again, and watch the videos. So, okay, now we have that. Now to make it a minor scale, we go to our 3rd, 6th, and 7th scale degree and lower them a half step. And bam. We just lowered the 3, 6, 7, and we say, hey, we already had a A minor scale. But now you know for sure. So here we have the A natural minor scale. And you might be saying, what's the difference between the 3 types of scales? It's the way they lower scale degrees. It's the harmonic structure that makes the scale, the key, what it is. It's all generally, there are 3 kinds of minor scales because it sounds minor. So that's why. I'm not sure if there's a more technical reason. But anyways, if we play this now, that is the sound of a minor scale. It sounds very nice. If we're going to make some chords, and again, we start with A. And so you say, hey, that's like a cool sound. That's A minor for you. Here's, now, we can take a couple notes here. We could say, wait a second. All these notes are natural. And when natural, there's another scale with all natural notes. And you think, and you say it's C major. C major has all these same notes. Now, all of them. There's no difference. Why does this sound so different? And it's because of the key. The key, the harmonic structure has been changed such that A is the most important with the same set of notes. Thus, minor scales. So if we were to play C major, it's got all natural notes, but it sounds totally different. It's like my bad. But if we were to play like A minor back to back with C major, so your C major, here's A minor. And there's like 1. So if you were to play 1, 4, 5 versus 1, 4, 5 in the major scale, completely different sound. So now we haven't gotten into chords yet, but that's just giving you a taste of like why these keys are a big deal and why they're different. And to make them, you just have to lower the 3, 6, and 7. So let's make another natural minor scale, and then we'll talk about parallel and relative. And we've actually already kind of talked about it, but I haven't said it in the most straightforward way possible yet. So let's make the C minor scale. So we recall that to make a minor scale, we just make the major scale and then we lower those degrees. So we say, and we remember that in order for it to be correct, there must be a note, whoops, on every line in space from this C to the next C. That way we get the correct inharmonic spellings. Okay, and now we go to the third, lower to half step. Some people will say flat. They'll say flat 3, 6, 7, flat them. That's not technically correct because if it's a sharp, it'll become natural like it did here. But they mean lower it a half step. So here we have it. If we play it, it has a super similar sound to this one. That's the minor scale because it's using the same pattern, the same harmonic structure, just different notes. So now that we've done that, we can ask ourselves, okay, well, this one had a scale that matched. Does this one? And so you think for a second, what scale has 3 flats? And okay, I'll tell you, it's E flat if you didn't think of it fast enough. So it's E flat. And you might be going, is there a quick way to tell? And there is. If you go to in any minor scale, if you want to know the same major scale with the same notes, you just go to the third degree. So here's the first degree, second degree, third degree is E flat. You say, oh, okay, that's cool. If you go to A minor, same deal. And when we get into making chords, you'll think of this so fast. It'll be awesome. So for example, if you were to do like, what's the relative minor to G minor? And if you don't know it off the top of your head, you can make a G minor chord and in fact, if we were to make a G minor, there would be 2 flats and the relative major would be B flat because that would be the third degree. So you just go to whatever the third degree is. I should not do examples if I'm not going to type them out. I should not do those out loud ones. So, okay, so that's minor scales. Now let's talk about relative and parallel. We've already sort of talked about them. So what we've been making is we've been making parallel minor scales. My bad. I've been pointing out relative minor scales. But here, whenever we start on a note like A, and we make the A major scale, and then you start on the same note, namely A, but now you make it a minor scale, that's a parallel minor scale because it starts on the same note. So if you were like had a C major scale and then you said make the C minor scale, that would be the parallel minor scale. So if you're on a test and they say here's an E major scale, make the parallel minor, they mean make an E minor scale. So they both start on E, but one's major and the other one's minor. And you just lower the 3, 6, 7 scale degrees to do that. However, what if they say make the relative minor? We've been making parallel minors and then finding the relative majors by looking at the third. But if you want to make the relative minor scale, it's super easy. You just got to think, okay, let's say, for example, you had D. And they said, make the relative minor to D. Well, to do that, to D major, you just say, what is the 6th scale degree? And whatever the 6th scale degree is, if you play all the same notes that are in D, but you start on the 6th scale degree, you will have the relative minor scale. And so for D, if we were to make a D major scale real quick, then go ahead and... So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, here's 6. And we say, oh, the 6th scale degree would be B. And we know that there must be 2 sharps in the key of D. And so the 6th scale degree would be B. So that if we were to play all the notes with 2 sharps, namely F sharp and C sharp, starting on B, we would have the relative minor to D major, which would be B minor. Whoops. Whoa. Exit note entry mode, yo. And it would sound like this. And there you have it. So it sounds, you'll notice it. You'll get used to the sound of the minor scale. And if they said make the parallel minor to D minor, you would make the D major scale and you would lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh. And that would be it. So that's minor scales, natural minor scales. As you learn chords, you begin to naturally stumble across neat ways of thinking of this. There are other minor scales, and there's actually, you might also be thinking at this point, so if like, let's just take C major and A minor, for example. So you're saying A minor, this starts A minor, so we play C major, and you say if we take all those same notes and start on A, that's a minor scale. Now you might be going, what if I start on D instead, but use all the same notes from the one D to the next D? Like that. What would that be? And my answer to that would be, that's the Dorian mode. And you've actually been using the Ionian and Aeolian mode, and I just haven't told you. So there are these mode things that can start on any note. So you can start on like F, but use all the same, use all naturals, just like C major. And there's actually names for all these different modes. We're not going to really deal with modes, especially in Harmony 1. We don't deal with modes, but we do mention them. So they exist, they're there. That's what's going on. And the major scales name, the mode it is the Ionian mode. And the minor scales, specifically, it must be, in this case, it's the natural minor scale. Because the other scales actually don't have parallel majors and minors. But if you switch them to their natural minor, they will. So I believe that's why it's called natural minor. But the natural minor scale is called the Aeolian mode. And you'll actually, the second one that is called the Dorian mode, and that's another one that's really popular. You may enjoy it quite a bit. I'm sure you've heard some excellent melodies in the Dorian mode. So that's scales. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, let me know. If you have any knowledge you'd like to add, maybe a neat way you thought of it, especially if you're like a vocalist or someone who maybe wasn't used to all the theory beforehand, you want to drop it in the comments for others, that'd be really cool. Subscribe and have a blessed day.